Hi everyone, Mickey Jacobs here, 6 p.m. Wednesday, what is it, the 8th. Welcome to Angel Chat, thank you very much. You know I start right on time, for those of you that punctuate, I think it's called, isn't
Punctual.
it? Punctual. Punctual. So thank you very much for joining in. Come and say hi, tell me where you are viewing it from. I love that, to see where you guys from, specifically those that I do not know. So thank you very much. What is still very hot in here, you know. Unfortunately there are fires, so prayers are always welcome to people with fires. I know that we kind of live in nature, and one time the fire was quite close, where those firefighter heroes were just here near our home and kind of protecting our little few homes community here. So, yeah, so yes. Hello, Brandy. Where are you from, Brandy? Did you tell me where you're from? I forgot. I don't know where you're from. Thank you for coming in. Thank you so very much. So today, Cynthia, hi, honey. I don't know if I met you or not, Cynthia. The name's familiar, but I'm not sure if I met you or not. So, sorry for the noise. It is a noisy home, since it's practically a San Diego zoo in here, minus some exotic animals. So it's a noisy at time. But Tony, Tony. Hello, honey. Thank you for joining in. I know you're a busy woman, so finding a time to join in, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. So, as you can tell, they're quite hyper today because they didn't eat their dinner yet. Stop it. Hello. So, a little bit noisy. So, yeah, so today, as you can read by what inspired me to discuss the topic today, is that unfortunate sad visit that I had in one of my hospital shifts. I give few hours a month to the hospital where I just, hello Susan, where I just get into a patient home and try to help them if someone pass away, or help the family, or just keep them company. So I do that. I'm a true believer in giving back. So I like to do that. So in that specific case, it was a very young woman, unfortunately, as I described, and the family come to a point where they were confused, because they asked me if I think, of course, she was unconscious, of course, and established by her doctor that she is in a coma and it will not be reversible, meaning brain dead, although I don't quite like to use that sad phrase. So when they asked me, I said, yes, I believe, of course, that she can hear us due to the awareness of the soul, which we will touch. And the doctor entered the room a few minutes later, and they asked him the same thing, and he said, no, she's unaware of anything, unable to hear, unable to see, unable to feel any pain, which was kind of a nice thing of what he said. So I can see that the family was a bit on the confused. Oh, Liza, thank you, honey, for joining in. It was wonderful seeing you there. Thank you so much. So just so you know that Liza there used to be my hairdresser, and it's about the best hairdresser in the world. So you should check her profile. And then, of course, Clayton and I moved far away, so I had to give up that fantastic, beautiful human being / hairdresser. So thank you, Liza, for joining in. So we'll talk a little bit today as to my experience, of course, doing what I do as a medium, as well as my teaching over the years, if someone that is in a coma or unconscious. But we're talking here more of the unconscious when a person ready to cross over, unfortunately, because sometimes when it's just unconscious, if someone pass out, or if someone, which I come across some patient like that, they're just unconscious because their body just needed a break, as I call it. So of course the mind is still able to understand, and that's a different thing. So we're talking about a little bit more coma, let's call it, which is a big umbrella name, but it's in a way where there is no reverse back, where, as I said in my note, that the doctor said, no, she cannot understand anything, and I differ the different. So, yes, I absolutely believe, hello Maria, hello honey, I absolutely believe that due to the awareness of the soul within the body, you know that I use the phrase the higher self, which is once again the percentage of the soul that experience life within the physical body every incarnation. And for those of you that familiar with previous angel chart, I use the phrase 10% of the overall energy of our soul that remain in the spirit world. And when we incarnate into planet Earth, we take with us a little bit of the energy of the soul that reside within the body for the length of the incarnation. So that awareness that we have within the soul, it's what gives us inspiration and wisdom and power beyond what we can imagine, because my belief is that we are, of course, a part of the Creator. As you can see by the video, this is Max the parrot. So did I not tell you it is a San Diego Zoo in here? So it's a little bit noisy, forgive me. So yeah, so we have that awareness within the body. That awareness is there for us to activate throughout the life. The awareness is there throughout the life for us to align ourselves with that energy within the body. And if we come to call enlightenment, if you will, via spiritual growth. And when we come to a point within the life that we are able to align ourselves within the wisdom that inherent within us to the incarnation, then obviously life is a bit easier because we have the power, spiritual power, of course. We are able to detach from planet Earth. We are able to access contact to spirit, contact to wisdom of the universe, and be a bit more spiritual. So when a person is ready to cross over, it doesn't matter what it's appear, unconscious, what we call brain dead, the awareness of the soul is still there, very much aware of the surrounding. And if you would see some of the notes or of the posts that people put there, that it was very obvious that the person is aware, obvious in a way that the family intuition, meaning they would say something like, I know that she can hear me, I know that she's there. That doesn't come from hopeful thinking or wishful thinking. That's come from their own intuition. You know that intuition, this is a system that built within us where we know things, which why it's called sometimes knowingness or gut feeling. The intuition is very much a spiritual tool that we human beings have in our life on planet Earth. So we are able to sense, we know that the person hears us. Having said that, of course, once again, as I always go back to the point, the more spiritual we are, the more we open to the concept of a soul within the body, as opposed to someone that atheist or doesn't believe in anything about the soul or life after death. If you died, you dead, which there are plenty of people, which is fine, of course. So those people naturally would believe the doctor that the person appear unconscious, in a coma, in a brain dead, unable to reverse the condition, and therefore it's useless to talk to the person. So sure, there are people like that. However, from my experience, even certainly people that are spiritual would be a little bit more open to the idea to talk to a person even in a coma that ready to cross over, despite what it appears to be or what the tests are showing on the monitors, if you will. So of course, the more we spiritual, the more we open to that concept, but not just because in my experience with people in grief, whether it is in my day-to-day work or when I do my hospital work, that even people that are not spiritual, from push come to shove, when we come into a tragedy, let's say, the memory kind of come back to us, the intuition or the feelings that there is something greater than us, despite the pain that I see. And naturally, with that specific story, if you will, she was at 32 years old, that was just 2 days later, passed away. So I find that more and more people incline, or I think it's called incline, or more and more people feel drawn to talk to the loved one as if they know that they're listening. Again, that knowingness comes from, not from the brain, not from the culture, not from the belief, but rather the the sense, if you will, that there is something bigger than us, that and therefore I find that maybe 7 out of 10 people, despite of their belief, do speak with people, and they should, because there is indeed absolutely an awareness. Even I believe one of the person that replied to my little post for today's video mentioned that her mom was in a coma and kind of came back. Not her time to go, obviously, and she came back around and was joking about her telling her joke without the punchline. So I hear plenty of story where in fact the people didn't pass away or came through, I think it's called, and were able to describe the conversation, who was in the room. Hello, Catherine. Hello, honey. Who was in the room. So you can call that proof, I guess. I also see that, but I more talk about the fact that when a tragic time like that comes, we do feel the sense that there is something bigger. We do feel the sense that the person does hear us. Yes, sometimes perhaps it's a wishful thinking, but mostly my belief from the teaching that I got over the years via Spirit is that when difficult things happen to us, Spirit, the universe, our team, our spirit guide, our angel, help us to awaken our memory. They help us. They're with us. They try to inspire us. When else they're going to help us if not in something so tragic, or when we are grieving, whether someone that crossed, hello Cindy, whether there's someone that crossed over or ready to cross over. So when you put everything together, the fact that we all have the memory, that there is a full awareness of the soul within the body, despite the condition of the physical body, brain dead or otherwise, in addition to the people that feel it, that sense it, then I do find that people do talk to their loved ones. So hello, Michelle. Hello, honey. So if you know someone that, or will know someone, that perhaps would be in a coma or ready to pass away, whether it's an elderly parent or something more tragic, of course talk to the person. A lot of people come ask me as to what to say. What else would you say other than express your love? That's all we take with us. That is the bigger part of my teaching. We don't take with us anything else, no bank account, no money, no business title, no nothing. All the soul, us, take with us at the time of death is how much love we left into this world. And I'm not just talking about the immediate family or the immediate people. I'm talking what did we live? Did we were liked human being? Were we love? So, that's really what we're doing here. So when I channel souls afterward, when they come across in a reading, come through in a reading, they were telling me, I had someone like that, I believe it was last week, a few days ago, that the father was so grateful to the daughter because she continually touched him and caressed him and expressed what a great father he was, despite the fact that he was not perfect, like short from anyone else is perfect. So what you want to do is believe, know that there is indeed an awareness and the soul is aware who is in the room. Actually, when a person is ready to cross over, the soul is not only aware of the surrounder and therefore what being said within the room, but also see departed loved one. There are loads of stories that I hear that the person, not in a coma, that ready to pass away and have a full-blown conversation with parents or other people that they know that cross over. So the soul obviously not only aware of the surrounding, of the physical surrounding, but also of spirit that are in the room, which of course to all of us, once the soul is ready, once we're ready to die, once the soul is ready to exit the body, then souls on the other side, in the spirit world, obviously know the divine timing of the passing. So they come to the hospital room or to the accident place or to wherever the body happened to cease to exist, if you will. So sometimes, indeed, the soul able to be aware of both worlds, which is, in my view, just so beautiful. Who is this? Jerry Lynn. That's a lovely name. Is that, I can see, is it, I can say, yeah, hold on. Yeah, it is Jerry Lynn. How lovely is that? Thank you, Jerry Lynn. Welcome. Thank you. So, as to what to say, once again, very important to express love. A lot of people say, what if the parent wasn't a good parent? What if we angry? It doesn't matter. All you know is you have to understand the concept that you want to send your loved one or whoever it is ready to pass away with love. That's all it is. You whisper love. I also believe that over the years, Spirit used the phrase that they like the touch of a loved one, caressing the hair, some, you know, the body, the touch, the hands. I mean, sometimes if it's not really possible in a hospital room, you can always find a part of the body when you can touch the person. That is very, very welcome by souls that come forward in a reading and say that they were not only felt love by the person, whisper to them or tell them how much they love them, but also about the touch. Important thing to say that a little bit out of the subject about coma, that they can hear us, is you don't want to be sad too much in the room. And of course we're talking if it's a controlled environment, such in a hospital, or if the person is ready to pass away in the house. Of course, sometimes tragedy is hard, and of course there is a grief. And for those of you that know my teaching, I'm really big on allowing the grief to express itself, go through all the stages of grief. It is not a good idea to suppress the grief because eventually it would surface up. But I'm also really big. But I'm also really big on the soul, in the same awareness that the soul know who is there in the room or the surrounding of who is there and what being said, what is being done. The soul also aware of sadness, of course. So if there is sadness, if I'm happen to be in a hospital room when I know there is a lot of sadness, I tell people if possible, of course if possible. If it's too tragic, then what I say will go out the window, and it's sad, of course. However, to be open to the concept that perhaps don't be sad, focus on the good time in life, even if it's a young person, it doesn't matter. Focus on the fact that they were loving. A lot of time I find it much easier for the whole transition for the person when they cross over, is that the family crack jokes or joke or talk about the lovely personality of the person have, or good memories, because again, it's energy, and if it's cry, and if it's sadness, and it's, not believe that the person here, then it's called a heavy energy. The heavier the energy, the more difficult it is for the surviving family, but also for the soul. The happier we are, the easier the transition, the easier the soul will be able to move forward. Now, is it possible? No, sometimes it's not possible. Spirituality is not designed to be cold. It's designed to present both sides. The side of us being left here, specifically if it's someone young or tragic, but also spirituality, in my belief, is to be open to other perspective, open to other ideas. And just because it's a tragic death, it doesn't mean it's heavy and cry and they cannot hear us and only listen to the test and to the doctors. No. That's what's nice about spirituality, is to stay open mind. Also, in a bigger picture, another thing of my teaching, that when we die, we're meant to be dead. The way we go home is the way we're meant to go home. The way, the manner, the precise timing, everything is designed, or rather pre-designed by our soul. It doesn't matter how it looks. We can call it accident all we want, but for the most part, the way we go home is indeed the way it's designed to go home. And if we're not meant to go home yet, home, then we don't go home yet. Now, you also know, for those of you that are familiar with my teaching, is that mean there are no accidents? Sure, there are accidents. This is a risky physical dimension or planet, and sometimes you know what happened, meaning sometimes that can happen, but very rarely. from me learning via spirit, obviously channeling spirit, is when we meant to go. So again, the more open you are to the idea, the more open you are to the idea of life after death, of the soul, that we are immortal, nothing dead, we continue on, we go back to home, the more it is easier to also accept the idea that despite what the monitor said, brain dead or otherwise, there is great awareness of the soul. So yeah, it's some subject in spirituality require open mind. As I always tell people, whether it is one-on-one or video or in my event, spirituality require open mind, because if you close-minded, if you say no, but it said it doesn't matter if the brain is dead and the person cannot hear me, then if you're not open mind, you're not going to give the opportunity for that intuition to come back to you, that feeling. So, I'm sorry about your loss, honey. I'm sorry about your loss. Yeah, so obviously the more open mind you are, the more you're able to open up your channel or open up the energy to have your own sense that indeed the person can hear you. So yeah, I think I cover everything. As I said the last time, every time I finish a video and I remember that I forgot something, but mostly I just cover the main thing. I know this is a very common topic that people ask me if they don't talk to loved ones, and then maybe they feel guilty later on. There is no guilt. You shouldn't have guilt. You shouldn't have sadness. The soul have fully aware as to our emotion, our meaning the surviving family that left here. So in my experience, all those years working with spirit, there is never anger, there is never regret. Even if people tell me that they appear to be, I miss the time when the person crossed over and I was in the cafeteria, or I lost the plane, or I didn't come. Are they angry at me? No, they're not angry at us. A, B, I also found that, came to realize that the soul very much govern who's going to be there, meaning around the bed, who's actually going to be there at the time of death. So even that is very much governed, meaning if you plan to be near someone at the time of death and you did not, that's mean because it was quote unquote meant to be. I don't quite like that phrase, but that's something that very much designed by the soul. As to who's going to see the person last moment. And if you miss the person last moment, then focus on the soul. Of course. The body is done, the body moved, the body served the person, and then you focus on the soul. So thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you always coming in. I'm sorry about all the people that lost someone. I can see here, I'm sorry. All I can say is obviously if you are still grieving, then rely on spirituality, where you learn to quiet your mind, where you learn about spiritual signs, and that would help you with your grief and know where your loved one are. So of course. So thank you very much. Who am I bringing here today to say goodbye? All right, today, I don't know, where's the 11 years old? I know there is 11 years old watching and wanted to see the animals. So that is Eilish again, ready to eat, don't care about nothing. Certainly not about angel charges, give me my food. Like I am when I want to eat. So thanks a lot, guys. I will see you next time. Be well, be happy. Mwah. Kisses to you, and I'll talk to you next Wednesday. Okay? Take care. Bye.